it all works together. Like if you have picks, you package those picks to get players at certain times, or you package
Right.
those picks to get other picks. They do have a value. Like don't let anyone tell you guys that any draft pick has no value. So I think there was an issue of punishing the team via the draft pick, not necessarily the. Bill Polian talked about this $1 million just basically being a symbol. Because come on, let's keep it real. Roger Kraft is like, all right, $1 million. Let me peel it off this bankroll in my pocket right now. Here, take this.
Well, really,
Don't bother me no more,
really, isn't that? I mean, okay, Tom Brady's not gonna make $1.8 million if they're 4 game suspension stand.
You got to do some math.
Technically, that means, so technically that means that Robert Kraft, if that does stand, then basically Robert Kraft would just stand Tom Brady's money in, right? So technically it's a wash.
No, actually, he makes $800,000. He'll gain $800,000.
Well, no. I'm saying the $1 million that the team got fined,
Right.
and with Tom Brady not making $1.8 million,
Right. So
Yeah,
that
I mean,
that
you know.
0.8 goes back into his pocket. So he actually makes
Of course.
$800,000.
yeah. Yeah, but I'm just talking about the million part was a wash. So so technically it's just going from one person instead of Tom is just going somewhere else. So
Here's the other thing, and this is what ESPN did today too. Yesterday, while I was recording this podcast, I in between hours, I clicked on where I could hear the television in my headphones, and they went live to right outside of Gillette Stadium to some of the fans. They were out there for God knows what. It's May, ladies and gentlemen. What the hell are you doing there? Anyway, they were out there, and this lady, her real comment was, they gave this dude the same amount. They gave him the same punishment that they give PED users, and 2 games more than they gave a guy who beat his wife. Subsequently, if you watch ESPN today, half of that comment was cut. I don't know why. It's true. So why
Yeah.
cut it? You can't, because now you can't reference it. If you reference the domestic violence
But
situation.
you know what was crazy? With the ESPN yesterday, ESPN for everything I listened to, all the podcasts that I went back and listened to last night, 'cause I was just out of touch with the girl for the most part yesterday. So I went back, I downloaded maybe 3-4 different podcasts for ESPN to see what everybody was talking about. And that's what they kept saying. They kept talking about, well, yeah, they're going to use the PED rule. Well, yes, PED. I mean, so it's like, if y'all been talking about it all day, and then y'all interview somebody and she say, she make reference to it. I mean, and the Ray Rice thing. I mean, you can't hide from that.
Nah, they were cool with that because their boy brought that up initially. He's the first person to say that. Adam Schefter. He's the first one to say that someone inside the league office told him that they're gonna make it akin to the performance enhancing drug situation, whereas instead of actually taking the performance enhancing drug, you're actually performing you're enhancing your performance by deflating footballs. All right, whatever, dude. I felt like it was kind of a stretch, but that's who Adam Schefter has become. Apparently, they now have a whatever. I'm not gonna advertise anybody else's product. I'm trying to make sure ours does well. So yeah, everyone's doing this whole apples to oranges situation. It's getting like real weird. Just like the whole comparing this to the PD suspensions, or saying that it's the same thing as someone in a domestic violence situation. Look, sometimes as adults, ladies and gentlemen, we have to just let this thing stand on its own. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not a dude who runs around, and I don't really use like he cheated and all this kind of stuff. I think it's weird when adults do that because it's something that kids do a lot. And speaking of kids, here's a thought that I had today. I'm glad I mentioned that. Well, I'm glad it came back to my mind. Because it's a conversation that Rob and I had when all the Tiger Woods stuff broke. And I was kind of laughed at, and made a joke of when I mentioned the fact that probably the most important thing to Tiger Woods at the time that he was going through those things is the fact that as kids, as parents, we have those moments where our kids realize that we're not superheroes anymore. We're not immortal.
Right.
Those times come. But the one thing that you don't, like, as a parent, you don't want is for it to happen too early. Tom Brady's kids don't know nothing about no PSI. They don't know nothing about no inflatable, no deflating of footballs, anything. But I can guarantee the one thing they know as kids is the word cheater and the connotation it has. And if someone's calling their daddy a cheater, they know what that is. They know exactly what that is. So if you're wondering, why Tom Brady might stick to his guns as hard as he is, it's not because, he has some fear of being imperfect, like I heard today on one of these ESPN shows or whatever. That may be, well, let me say this, it might be part of it. But the fact of the matter is Tom Brady's a kid to three small kids that have an understanding of one element, at least one element of this whole scenario, which is cheater. Like, because when kids are running around playing, oh, daddy, she's cheating or he's cheating, they know what that is.
My little girl hit me with that every time I beat her at Uno.
Right. They know exactly what that is.
I ain't playing that, and I'm like, you cheated.
Exactly.
Like, I cheated? What?
It's real talk. So, as we move forward, I want to remind you guys as well, this is a monster that you created. It's a monster, just like the A-Rod situation. You guys created this. The fact that this man stood up there and he lied. Yeah, he lied. But I don't have a moral judgment against it. I don't. Right. I understand what the human instinct of self-preservation is, and I respect it. You understand? Now, could he have done better? Well, here's the thing, and I thought about this earlier too. It's not really that he lied, because I'm about to get technical on y'all. What my man says was that he never altered footballs, which
that he did. Yeah.
Who can say that's a lie? Yeah. I can't. Now,
yeah.
did someone in the audience ask him?
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, Tom, did you know?
Bill Clinton. Yeah, that's a different question.
Yeah, Tom, did you know that the footballs were deflated beyond the NFL standards? Did anyone ask that question? I don't remember it happening. I remember everyone asking if Tom, whatever they asked, he answered the way he wanted to. That he'd never do anything to circumvent the rules. And in actuality, we found out that he didn't. He didn't do anything. Now, he may have, initiated. Well, not may have. Obviously, he did. In my conversation with Steve earlier, Steve Silver, we both came to the same conclusion that there's no way. This man has said, and this is what interviewing a guy like Steve. I went through his LinkedIn. I kind of stalked him before I interviewed him around these parts. We call that
that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, doing research on the interviewer or interviewee. Excuse me. But yeah, in all seriousness though, he did like 4 or 5 internships with different sports areas, and he alluded to it during the interview that he's been in a lot of locker rooms and he's seen the relationships between equipment guys and star players. And he said, yeah, they varied,
right,
but he found it the same way I did. Hard to believe that Tom says, I didn't even know who this dude is. Well, Tom.
Well, we talked about that.
Going a little bit hard on that one.
This dude been a part of the organization longer than Robert Kraft.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, they caught him in a bad time, man. His head coach just threw him up under the bus. I don't know nothing about no balls. You can ask Tom. Matter of fact, he about to come out here right now. Tom's like, what? What happened?
But what's so funny is that after all of this, and I'm just going to say he's guilty. I don't think the other way, right? So just say, after all of this, Tom Brady done brought shame to the Patriots as if the Patriots ain't brought enough shame to themselves. And there they go. We just want everybody in America, all the football fans, everybody in the National Football League and New England and everywhere else, we just want everybody to know that Tom Brady has we stand behind Tom Brady 100%, and we have full faith and confidence in Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the Patriots like.
They're dug in. They are actually dug in. Tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't realize the time was going as fast as it has. We hadn't done on this day, and we haven't gotten into the latest developments as far as my man Ted Wells, who, by the way, here's breaking news.
He went in.
Breaking news. Hey. I did not understand that Ted Wells was a brother until today.
Yes.
I saw the picture. Yes. I was like, my man, let's go. Let's go.
Hey. As soon as I turned the TV on when I got home, I saw this little black dude in the corner. I was like, who is that?
Yeah,
and it said Ted Wells.
Let's do it immediately. Immediately, let's go. Yeah, man. I was like, yo, God, Ted Wells is a brother. No wonder. Like, you ain't about to just call me no lie now. But
yeah,
I did talk.
I
talked to Steve about that. He talked about it. He talked about that natural human connection that we have towards the people who are for lack of a better, are paying us. The NFL is paying him, so it's kind of incumbent upon him to do his best to arrive at an outcome that doesn't make them look stupid. You know what I mean? And not saying that he railroaded anybody or he put his integrity in harm's way. But he, as Steve mentioned, he works for the client. He serves the client, and the client in this situation being the NFL. I tell you what, I got some sound from today's conference call. Yes, Ted Wells did a conference call. A lawyer. He was like, you know what? F this. This cat Don Yee think he gonna come at me? Nah. I don't play them games, homeboy. You thought it was a different game, but you didn't understand. This ain't the one I play. And he came back at him, and like Rob said, he went hard. He was like, you know what? Yep. Yeah, ask me anything you want to. I'm telling all the business. And he, in true N-word fashion.
But he kind of. I mean, he gave Tom Brady a window, man. He gave, in my opinion, he gave Tom Brady and his people an out, and they refused to take it. They refused to take it. It was just the whole thing where he said, if you just give me what you got, if you tell me all you got, I'll just go with that.
But see, that's not an out. That's a problem for them. Because anything I give you, and I have the sound, and like I said, we'll get into it a little bit more, and you can hear exactly what he said. But if he gives him anything as it relates to this case, immediately, that's your downfall. Because now you've had contact with these men. The men that you said you didn't know. Boom. Yeah. Immediately. Yeah. Done and done. Stick a fork in it. Let's carve it up, put it on some bread, and add some cheese and some mustard and some mayo, and let's eat it immediately. Yeah, dog. Yeah. Here's the thing, man. And I meant to ask this yesterday. Somebody beat me to it. That's actually, who was it? Bomani did it today. It was on my notes, and I'm going to read to you exactly how it says it on my notes. It says, could Garoppolo Tom Brady? Say what? Yeah, the same way Tom Brady did Drew. I want to call him Drew Henson. Wrong guy. Wrong. Bad quarterback. Drew Bledsoe. Yeah, that's a bad quarterback I'm talking about. Drew Bledsoe was all right. He was pretty good. The same way that this whole situation worked out for Tom, could old Jimmy G, kind of get on in there. Because I don't know if you guys remember, a couple months ago, it might have been a couple months ago, maybe even last or year before last, but big Tom Brady, Tom's dad was like, yeah, things ain't going to end well between the Patriots and my son. Like, he already know how they do business.
Talked about that. Yeah, man, you talked about that the other day. Yeah.
He knows it from the jump. And this is the realest thing they ever wrote. Like, things are not going to end well because in a perfect world, the Patriots will be done with Tom at the same time that Tom is done with football. How many times did that work out? Like, even in the case, I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday, if I just thought it, but I'll say it again if I did say it yesterday, whatever. That even in the case of Dan Marino, I don't know how many people remember this, that after Dan Marino got shellacked by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC second round.
Yeah, what was it, 60 to 3?
It's ridiculous. He wasn't ready to go all the way. Like, he considered finishing his career a Minnesota Viking. And then they kind of Troy Polamalu'd him. It was like, but Dan, you've been here since the 70s, and, you probably don't want to start over somewhere else. And Dan was like, you know what? I'm still handsome. F it. I'll go do some TV. I'm out. I'm out. Yeah. Screw you guys. I thought I had a couple more throws in me, but damn it, I'm gone. And he left. Yeah. So the odds of that thing happening to Tom Brady, I think Big Tom was right.
All it takes is this window right here, because that's all it took for him to take Bledsoe's job. Remember, Bledsoe got hurt and came back.
Well, yeah, but he came back at the end of the season. He was almost dead, though. Like, Mo Williams almost killed that dude. Yeah. He was gone more than 4 games.
and you got to think about the fact that Tom Brady is up in age now.
Yeah. Interesting conversation. We'll continue it in the second hour, definitely, because we got to get to this Ted Wells situation as well. This is the Sports Kings Podcast. Yours truly, Big Mike, finally rejoined by Rob Calloway. We're being heard via Spreaker.com. And don't forget, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook are our social media vehicles of choice. You can reach us at Sports Kings Live, as well as on our email, sportskingslive@gmail.com. We want to send a special thanks to our guy, Steve Silver, the founder of LegalBlitz.com. You can find him at thelegalblitz.com. We'll be right back with hour number 2.